Upon learning that my husband was assigned to work in another location for another 7 years, I traveled a long distance to find him. When I arrived at his workplace, I was stopped by the security guard. When he found out I was looking for Pei Lin, his expression suddenly changed. "What are you looking for my son-in-law for?" I was thunderstruck, thinking perhaps it was just a coincidence of names. But then a worker chatting nearby laughed and said, "Uncle Zhou, why are you panicking? Pei Lin is known far and wide as a henpecked husband. Whoever might play around, your son-in-law wouldn't dare." He gestured towards me with his chin. "She might be someone sent by the higher-ups for work." I pretended to be calm and showed Pei Lin's photo. "I do have some work matters to discuss with him. Is this the Pei Lin you're talking about?" The security guard relaxed his vigilance. "Yes, he's my son-in-law." My blood ran cold. Shortly after, a well-dressed woman asked me with a smile, "You're looking for my husband about work? Come wait at home. Our son has a fever, so he took him to the city hospital." It felt like a bolt from the blue. I stared at the woman before me, suffocating. Seeing me stunned, the woman warmly invited me. "I'm Pei Lin's wife, Zhou Shushu. You can just call me Shushu." She was very amiable, a smile always on her face, waving for me to follow her. "This place is full of rough men, all lechers. It's not safe for a woman like you here. Come to my place to wait. He'll be back after a while." As she spoke, she familiarly tugged at my arm. Somehow I followed her lead. I secretly glanced at this woman out of the corner of my eye. Her skin texture was poor. Her makeup skills not good either, with powder caking under her eyes. But it was still evident that she was at least 10 years younger than the 37-year-old Pei Lin. "Oh my, you people from the big cities are different. Your skin is so good, like a peeled egg." She stared openly at my face, her eyes full of envy. "My husband's skin is like yours, smooth and tender." She smiled amiably and warmly. "Looks like the city's water and soil really nurture people." I forced a faint, strained smile. She was right. Both Pei Lin and I had the kind of good skin that was delicate and fair. Although I was much older than her, thanks to good maintenance, I still looked like a young girl in my early 20s. Not at all like a middle-aged woman married for 12 years. But so what? Even if I was pretty, had a good job, took care of the elderly and the children, my husband was still heartlessly, behind my back, building another family. She was very talkative, chattering incessantly. A couple on a motorcycle rode towards us and stopped when they passed by. The woman on the back of the motorcycle handed Zhou Shushu a bag of chestnuts. "See how much your husband cares about you. Taking the kid to the doctor. And he asked me to bring you this bag of chestnuts because he said you like them." Zhou Shushu smiled as if used to it. "He just worries too much." I deliberately said, "Your husband is really good to you." The woman on the motorcycle said, "Her man is exceptionally good to her. If she tells Pei Lin to go east, he wouldn't dare go west." The fearless Pei Lin is only afraid of Shushu glaring at him or crying. Zhou Shushu's smile was still as usual. "Sister-in-law, stop teasing me." A wave of bitterness surged in my heart. It felt like the heavens were playing a huge, absurd joke on me. My highly educated husband, who always pursued equality in marriage, had actually become someone else's henpecked husband far away. We arrived at Zhou Shushu's home. Although located in a rural area, it was nothing like a typical farmhouse. It was a very unique rural villa. My man built this. Pretty, right? It's the only one in our village, and also the first house for a live-in son-in-law. My heart skipped a beat, startled by the words live-in son-in-law. Entering the living room, I immediately saw a family portrait hanging on the wall. A family of 6, all smiling happily. It included a boy about 5 years old and a girl about 3 years old. We had a similar family portrait in our living room too. Except we only had a 10-year-old son, no daughter. The year he was sent out by his company, he had solemnly cupped my face and said, "Honey, trust me, 2 years at most. I'll find a way to get transferred back. When I come back, if your health allows, we'll have a second child, and the family will never be apart again." But 7 years had passed. Except for a few days home after the new year, he was almost never around. Last year when he went back, I sadly mentioned not having a daughter. But he unexpectedly said, "The economic environment is bad now. Sensible young people aren't having children anymore. We're lucky to have one son." Why have a second and ask for trouble? So it wasn't that his thinking had changed, but that he already had a son and a daughter elsewhere. We have Wi-Fi. You can use your phone on it, save on data. The password is 110,913. My husband specially set it to my birthday. As she spoke, she smiled and brought me tea. My heart jolted again. Pei Lin had told me this mountainous area had no network. So he always had to find a way to contact me. I could never reach him. I opened my phone, connected to Zhou Shushu's Wi-Fi full signal. Lies were exposed before me one after another, each like a knife stabbing my heart. I pretended to be calm and said, "You two seem very close. I heard he's on an assignment. Aren't you worried he might get transferred back?" Zhou Shushu's face always held a smile. "No, I'm not afraid. Honestly, my man almost got transferred back this time." My heart tightened as I waited for her next words. "My husband pulled a lot of strings to stay. He'll probably be here for another 7 years. When the project here is completely finished, my man said he'd rather quit than go back." My heart felt like it had crashed heavily to the bottom of a cliff. So it wasn't the company forcing him to be reassigned. It was his own application. Even though he knew his mother was hospitalized for a cerebral infarction, his father had broken his leg, needing their son by their side. Even though his son's eyes had reddened time and again, Wei Chu at rarely seeing his father. Even though he knew his wife, was busy inside and out, exhausted by work and family, Sun Xinjie even hospitalized several times from exhaustion. He still, with peace of mind, lived a carefree life thousands of miles away with another woman. A chill made my shoulders tremble slightly. Zhou Shushu, thinking I was cold, immediately turned on the air conditioner. "You'll warm up soon." The air conditioner my husband bought me is a famous brand. Though she smiled, she constantly mentioned Pei Lin's love for her, flaunting their affection. In our village, no one else has an air conditioner, only us. Actually, air conditioners are quite expensive and I didn't want one, but my husband insisted, afraid I'd be cold in winter. I still wore a strained smile, probing indirectly. "I feel he's quite a bit older than you. Is he remarried?" "He's 10 years older than me, not remarried. I just got incredibly lucky." Zhou Shushu's smile grew even happier. "Heaven has been good to me, letting someone like me, who only finished elementary school, find a master's degree holder. He's the project manager for the development here, second in command to the boss. I never dreamed I could be the wife of such a capable man. My husband also says meeting me was the luckiest thing in his life." She chattered on. "Actually, an age gap is good. It means he knows how to take care of you. My husband is not only responsible with work, but also with the family. He gives me his entire salary every month, every cent. I only give him 200 yuan for cigarettes." Bitterness welled up in my heart. Over the years, Pei Lin had transferred 30,000 yuan back home every month. He said accommodation and food were provided here, and 1,000 yuan was enough for daily expenses. The company's accountant was my college roommate. I knew his monthly after-tax salary was 31,000 yuan. I probed. "His salary is high, it can support a family well." "Exactly, that's why I say I hit the jackpot. He's not only good to me, but also good to my parents. My mom has a bad back." She pointed to the expensive massage chair beside the sofa. This massage chair cost over 20,000 yuan. He bought it without batting an eye. My dad likes to drink. He buys mitai, several thousand a bottle by the case. He also gives me 50,000 yuan a month to spend however I like. Hearing this, I was certain Pei Lin had been embezzling and taking bribes. The bitterness in my heart was like Huanglan, and I felt sad for his parents too. 3 months ago, my mother-in-law had a critical cerebral infarction. I called him crying from outside the hospital. "Changzhou, sir. Pei Lin, come back. Mom is in Changzhou, she keeps saying she wants to see you." But he lied to me, saying, "I'm sorry, honey. The construction project is at a critical stage here. I really can't get away. Mom, a good person, is blessed. She'll be fine." So many times when I was flustered, helpless, and my legs too weak to stand, his phone was either unreachable, or he couldn't come back. He ignored his own family, cared nothing for his parents or child. Yet in another family, he played the role of good husband, good father, good son-in-law. Truly ironic and utterly heartbreaking. Zhou Shushu's phone rang. She didn't avoid me. The phone's volume was just loud enough for me, sitting next to her, to hear clearly. He called her honey. His voice was gentle, the same tone he used when calling me normally. Son's fever hasn't gone down. The doctor says we need to observe him in the hospital overnight. I don't have enough money on me. Honey, can you transfer me some? 300 is enough. I sneered inwardly. He really was a good family man. Zhou Shushu smiled and said, got it. I'll transfer it to you in a bit. On the other end, Pei Lin couldn't help but remind her. Honey, I won't be able to hold you tonight. You go to sleep obediently, cover yourself well, don't catch a cold. Not being by your side for even a day makes me feel uncomfortable all over. These words stabbed my heart like sharp swords. In 12 years of marriage, only the first few years had that kind of intimate, lovey-dovey energy. Now he wasn't even this attentive to our son. Time had made us an old married couple. Now it was making us drift apart into the most familiar strangers. The call ended. Zhou Shushu smiled at me, about to say something, then seemed to remember something. Oh, by the way, I forgot to ask your name? Jiang Jieqi. That's such a nice name. City people really know how to name children. She was still her talkative, enthusiastic self. Until now I still thought. She was probably like me, an innocent woman kept in the dark. By the way, my husband can't come back today. Why don't you stay overnight? When he comes back tomorrow you can discuss work then. I agreed. During dinner, Zhou Shushu cooked a table full of delicious dishes, both meat and vegetables. I saw their daughter, who closely resembled Pei Lin in features. Zhou Shushu's parents weren't as warm to me, just superficially polite. They even looked at me with a bit of vigilance and strangeness. Throughout the meal they talked most about Pei Lin. In their mouths, Pei Lin wasn't a son-in-law, but a biological son. Zhou Shushu was an only daughter. In the Spanpi area where sons were prized, the old couple had never been able to hold their heads high their whole lives. It was Pei Lin's appearance, becoming their live-in son-in-law, treating them like his own parents, that finally straightened their backs, bent for a lifetime. Zhou's mother said, Pei Lin is the pillar of our family. Our family cannot do without him. It felt like a thorn was stuck in my throat that couldn't be removed. He didn't support his own family's roof, but year after year propped up someone else's. When it was time to sleep, Zhou Shushu arranged for me to stay in the guest room, which was next to her parents' room. After lights out I lay awake for a long time. I overheard Zhou Shushu's parents whispering for a long time in the next room. After much deliberation, I still sent a report letter and video to Pei Lin's company headquarters, and sent a message to my brother, who is a police officer. You'll have to come and arrest Pei Lin. He's broken the law. These two decisions weren't satisfying, but they were a closure for my life, and the punishment he deserved. The next morning, Zhou Shushu offered me some of her clothes to wear. Afraid I might mind, Shituri added. This is newly bought for me by my husband, washed once but never worn. It's quite cold here. What you're wearing is too little, you'll freeze. I looked at the down jacket she brought over. It was pure white, slim fit, long style, a Mingpai costing 5,900 yuan. I had looked at it all winter but couldn't bear to buy it, adding it to my shopping cart several times only to remove it. It wasn't that I couldn't afford it, but with elderly and a child to support, spending had to be planned. Before, I had also complained to Pei Lin. Other women's husbands buy them clothes. I've been with you for so many years, and you've never bought me any. He always smiled gently and said, you have all the money. Buy whatever you want. I'm afraid you won't like what I pick, and I don't know how to choose women's clothes. So it wasn't that he couldn't choose, just that he didn't want to choose for me. Thank you. I took the clothes and put them on, both pretty and warm. She was momentarily stunned, a flicker of surprise in her eyes. Unexpectedly, I didn't engage in polite refusal with her. During breakfast, I again listened to her chattering about their love. She also asked me what life in the city was like. She even asked me, how is your life? I smiled faintly and answered honestly, it's okay, except my husband isn't as good at taking care of his wife as yours is. She grinned happily. Finally, around noon, the door was opened from the outside, and Pei Lin's familiar voice came through. Honey, I'm home. Zhou Shushu and I both stood up from the sofa and looked at him. Which honey are you calling? Hubby? I asked him coldly. Pei Lin's face froze. He stood there holding his 5-year-old illegitimate son. The child in his arms looked on timidly. I scrutinized his eyes intensely. There were 1,000 words in my eyes asking him why he did this to me, to his son, and even to his own parents. He was an only son, raised and supported by his parents his whole life to establish a career and family. Yet now, behind all our backs, he had become the live-in son-in-law of a single-daughter family in the mountains. I could never understand him. Even less could I forgive him. The first to react was Zhou Shushu's startled cry. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Shi Jidongde tugged at my arm. The smile finally vanished from her face, tears instantly falling, her eyes questioning Pei Lin. Honey, why is she calling you honey? Pei Lin's frozen face finally showed tension. He quickly put the child down. He stepped forward a few paces, and between Zhou Shushu and me he actually seemed torn, unsure which way to go. He weakly said, I'll explain to you slowly. Explain what? Explain that you've been married for 12 years, saying our marital relationship has long been dead in all but name. Or explain that you have no parents, no son. Or perhaps that you, a married man, are now someone else's henpecked husband, planning to divorce to give her a real status? My words were piercing, my gaze Dochua, pushing him into the guise of an honest man. Knowing he was in the wrong, Pei Lin guiltily and without confidence replied, I didn't plan for this. I'm sorry. Didn't plan for what? Huh? Pei Lin. What do you mean? What am I to you? Are you planning to abandon me, or not? Zhou Shushu's emotions spun coy. She wailed and stormed. Pei Lin's heart ultimately penchang her. He hurried over to hug and soothe her. Shushu, I didn't mean it that way. It's me who wronged you. Give me some time to handle it. Okay? Zhou Shushu struggled like a hog being butchered on New Year's Eve, refusing his embrace. Witnessing my husband comforting a third party in front of me, my heart bled, anger surged, and I pressed him. Then what do you mean? He let go, not daring to hold her again. He looked torn, Yifu Jin Toilangnan, as if being weighted to death. Amidst the juncture my phone rang. It was a video call from my father-in-law. I answered without hesitation. Juchi, have you seen Pei Lin? Father-in-law smiled, his eyes full of anticipation. The old man hadn't seen his own son for almost 2 years. I switched the camera to the rear, raised my phone, and let father-in-law see the family portrait on the wall of this house. Yes, I've seen him. Also saw his new wife, new son, new daughter, new in-laws. This is his new home. He is now the live-in son-in-law of this family. I spoke through gritted teeth, emphasizing the words live-in son-in-law. Father-in-law's eyes widened in shock, too angry to speak for a moment. I raised the phone towards Pei Lin and Zhou Shushu. Dad, look. This is your good son and his new daughter-in-law. Father-in-law slammed the wheelchair in anger, his voice trembling. Pei Lin, is this what you've done? You have no regard for your mother and me. No regard for your wife and child in your heart. Are you trying to anger me to death? Pei Lin got annoyed and tried to grab my phone. Turn it off. Stop filming. Just tell me directly what you want. Father-in-law Fang Henhua on the other end. I don't have a son like you. Amidst the argument, Zhou Shushu's parents returned. I hung up the video call. After the Zhou parents learned my true identity, Zhou's father first Fang Henhua to me. Since Pei Lin could marry and have children with my Shushu, it means he couldn't get along with you anymore. You two should part amicably. Anyway, our family won't let him go. Zhou's mother chimed in. Since Pei Lin came to our family, I've always treated him like my own son. He and Shushu have such good feelings, it's impossible for him to separate from my daughter. I looked at Pei Lin. What do you have to say? He kept his head down the whole time, sitting nearby staring at the tips of his leather shoes. Pressed by my stare, he slowly looked up and hesitantly asked me, would you still be willing to have me? Before I could reply, Zhou Shushu exploded. She rushed from across the room, sat on the floor in front of him, grabbed his collar and asked, what do you mean by that? If she still wants you, you won't want me anymore, is that it? Pei Lin, if you dare abandon me, I'll kill myself and the kids right in front of you. She only bore you one child, but I bore you two. My contribution to you is greater than hers. Pei Lin pulled her up and coaxed her. I just need to know what she means. My heart turned to ashes. I sneered coldly, but deliberately said, I want you to come back, and cut ties with here forever. I knew he was waiting for me to choose, and even firmly believed that I, with my emotional JP, would definitely choose divorce. But when I said I wanted him to come back and cut ties with here forever, his eyes showed surprise and even a hint of disappointment. I stared hard at him. It's your turn to choose. He was torn, his lips moved. In the end he couldn't speak. Zhou Shushu angrily shook him. Say it. You said you loved me most, you said I was your life. Say it. I want to hear your answer right now. With no other option, Pei Lin looked at me pleadingly. Can it just stay like this? Like what? I stared at him coldly as ice. He wanted to have both, but was too scared by my gaze to repeat himself. Maintain the status quo? You continue being the live-in son-in-law here. I go back to honor your parents, manage everything at home? My child lives like he has no father. I continue living like a widow. Hit the nail on the head. He found it hard to choose, frowning deeply. Unsatisfied with his response, Zhou Shushu grabbed Pei Lin's arm, crying heart-wrenchingly. If you abandon this family, I'll kill myself in front of you. You said you'd grow old with me. You can't abandon us. Crying, she called the two children over. Son, daughter, ask your father. Does he still want you or not? The two young children didn't know what was happening, but seeing Zhou Shushu cry, they felt for their mother and started crying too. They ran into Pei Lin's arms, each crying sadly and asking, Dad, please don't abandon us, okay? Dad, Mom is crying. Soothe her. Aren't you most afraid of Mom crying? Pei Lin's emotions finally broke. He held the three of them in his arms and gently patted them. His eyes gradually reddened and moistened. Finally, steeling himself, he made up his mind and told me, Jechi, it's me who wronged you. I know after doing something like this, I have no face to ask for your forgiveness. I don't want anything from home. I'll give it all to you. I won't fight you for custody of our son either. Things have come to this. This is the only choice I can make. He glanced at the sobbing mother and children, then begged me again. You have a good job, you can stand on your own. Shushu can't, she knows nothing, she's also very pitiful. If I abandon her, she won't be able to live. I can only beg you to let us be. I was angered into laughing, the bitterness in my stomach churning like waves. She's pitiful? Huh? Is she more pitiful than your mother, who can't care for herself after a stroke, often wanting to see you but unable to? Is she more pitiful than your father, who had his leg broken by a car while buying your favorite breakfast? She's pitiful? Is she more pitiful than your son, who gets bullied at school, called a bastard for having no father? As I spoke, tears kept falling. Not for him. Just purely thinking that someone like him didn't deserve the expectations our whole family had for him. Pei Lin was ashamed by my words, momentarily unable to respond. You can rest assured, I will bring your parents here. I will provide for them in their old age and see to their end. You don't need to worry. She glared at me fiercely. I was so nice to you. You knew from the start I was Pei Lin's other wife. Yet you deliberately pumped me for information. What were you thinking? I smiled sarcastically and immediately called my parents-in-law. I told them about Pei Lin's choice. My mother-in-law was furiously indignant and Fanghua to Pei Lin. If you dare divorce Jechi, I won't have a son like you. I never thought I'd raise such a conscienceless son. You're letting Jechi down so badly, bullying her like this. You'll regret it sooner or later. For so many years your father and I have been taken care of by Jechi. She manages everything inside and out. We only acknowledge her as our daughter-in-law. I'm telling you this now. If you don't come back, I'll consider you dead out there. My father-in-law was also of the same attitude. As for that mistress, even if I die, I won't let her into the Pei family, and I won't acknowledge those two illegitimate children. Zhou Shushu started crying sadly. Pei Lin looked utterly miserable, as if life wasn't worth living. I hung up the phone. He wiped his tears, not daring to meet my eyes, and slowly said, I really have no choice, Jechi. State your terms. Anything I can agree to, I will. Zhou Shushu also begged me. You can't force feelings. You're so beautiful and capable. You'll definitely find someone better. It's different for me. I only have Pei Lin. I beg you, let me have him. As she spoke, she pulled her 2 young children to beg me too. Quickly kneel down to your auntie. Beg her to let your dad stay here. The 2 children were very obedient, both kneeling and begging me. Auntie, please don't take my dad away. Our family can't be without dad. Then we wouldn't be a complete family. Using her children to provoke my sympathy, the fire in my heart surged upwards. Your children need a father, but doesn't mine? I laughed bitterly and stood up from the sofa. Actually, whether it's your children or mine, they won't have fatherly love from now on. Both Zhou Shushu and Pei Lin looked shocked, not understanding my meaning. Until my brother arrived with local police, followed successively by Pei Lin's boss and superiors. Only then did Pei Lin realize belatedly that I had never intended to give him a chance, let alone let him be. With so many people appearing at once, the 2 children were scared into loud crying. The police thoughtfully asked Zhou's mother to take the children out. Pei Lin was very calm, as if he had long anticipated this day. Zhou Shushu, on the contrary, was emotionally agitated, yelling loudly. What do you mean? Why are you arresting my man? So what if he cheated? Which man doesn't cheat? We haven't committed any heinous crime. After cursing a few times unsatisfied, she vented all her anger on me, her finger pointing at my nose, trembling. Even a day as husband and wife creates deep affection. How can you be so venomous? It's not like all the men in the world are dead. He doesn't want you, you can find someone else. Killing is worse than beheading. He's already agreed to give you everything at home. What more do you want? No matter how much you hate him, he's still the father of your child. How can you be so cruel as to destroy him completely? Pei Lin tugged at her arm twice, advising, stop talking. Watching the aggressive Zhou Shushu, I refused to be outdone. I just did the right thing. The clothes you wear, the house you live in, the food you eat. Not only do they infringe on my rights as the legal wife, they are also ill-gotten gains. Do you know what ill-gotten gains are? Do you know that ill-gotten gains are illegal? You only know his glamorous project manager persona. You don't know that the money you enjoy is stained with blood, power, and corruption. The police put silver handcuffs on Pei Lin. We are now taking you in according to law for further investigation. Pei Lin cooperated. Zhou Shushu panicked, grabbing the police officer's arm and begging, my man, how much did he embezzle? We'll return it all. Please don't take him away. We have children. Please, for the children's sake, give him a chance. The police officer said sternly, it's not about returning the money now. He is suspected of illegal embezzlement and bribery. This is a legal matter. Pei Lin's boss said disappointedly, I entrusted such a large project to you. I never imagined you could do such conscience-less things as embezzlement, bribery, misappropriation of public funds, and substituting shoddy materials in the project. Pei Lin hung his head, utterly disgraced, too ashamed to speak. Zhou Shushu was scared silly, crying and asking Pei Lin, what do we do? What do we do? I said, you'd better think about yourself first. What you and Pei Lin committed is bigamy. What I can grant you, both might be going to prison together. Zhou Shushu was stunned. Because of her, Pei Lin finally couldn't suppress his emotions. He displeasedly questioned me. Go ahead and destroy me. You can destroy me completely, but why not spare an innocent woman? I raised a sarcastic, cold smile. The immense hatred in my heart truly wanted to slap his face to pieces. Yet at the peak of emotional rage, I suddenly felt all of this was utterly meaningless. Innocent? Someone who knowingly acts as a third party and deliberately flaunts her relationship in front of the legal wife is innocent. If she hadn't told me you give her 50,000 yuan a month for living expenses, how would I have had evidence to report you for embezzlement and bribery? Pei Lin was thunderstruck, staring at Zhou Shushu for an answer. Zhou Shushu panicked and shook her head in denial. I didn't know she was your wife. How could I be so stupid? If I knew she was your wife, how could I possibly have brought her home? Her explanation was very reasonable. It made Pei Lin waver and choose to believe her. Calmly I played a recording. Hearing the first 2 lines, Pei Lin's face suddenly turned ashen. I reckon Pei Lin will definitely go back to divorce this time. Even if he tries to delay and not divorce, Shushu will pester him relentlessly until he does. She won't let him have a wife on both sides. That's just not right. This passage was spoken by Zhou's father. Then came Zhou's mother's voice. This woman is also remarkably calm. Even after discovering Pei Lin is our son-in-law, she didn't blow up. Would you say she has a good temper? Or is she just not capable, not brave enough to fight back? Zhou's father replied. Definitely doesn't dare. Pei Lin is so capable, earns so much money. She's probably afraid that if she makes a scene, Pei Lin won't go back with her. I think she's full of ulterior motives. Zhou's mother retorted sarcastically. What use are ulterior motives? Pei Lin has no feelings for her anymore. Now everyone knows Pei Lin dotes on our Shushu like a treasure. Pei Lin does whatever Shushu says. You can bet that if Shushu makes a fuss, Pei Lin will definitely divorce that woman. Didn't our daughter bring this woman back precisely to force this issue into the open? Pei Lin's expression went from ugly to disappointed, staring at Zhou Shushu. So you knew I was married all along? You deliberately brought Jechi back to force the divorce? Unable to deny it, Zhou Shushu admitted tearfully. I just wanted you to belong completely to me. What did I do wrong? I never expected her to be so calculating, so venomous, to report you and try to destroy you completely. Zhou's father, who had remained silent, finally spoke, shirking responsibility. If you hadn't been so indecisive, this wouldn't have happened. Now that you're in trouble, what will happen to the two children? What will happen to Shushu? How will you let our Zhou family hold our heads up around here? Pei Lin suddenly laughed, and as he laughed, tears welled up in the corners of his eyes. His eyes were full of helplessness at being outsmarted by Zhou Shushu. For a moment he didn't know who to blame. When he was taken away, not only the villagers from this village gathered to watch, but also those from nearby villages. Thousands of people were gone, and discussed the famous henpecked husband. Manager Pei is really muddle-headed. His wife at home is so beautiful, I heard she's also highly educated, a university lecturer even. Playing around with women is one thing, but he took it too far. Men are just never satisfied. No matter how good the wife at home is, they still want to taste the filth outside. He was so good to Zhou Shushu, did whatever she said. Who would have thought he's a cheating, family-betraying scumbag? The legal wife is so great. I think Pei Lin is simply blind. Zhou Shushu is shameless too. I heard she knew Pei Lin had a wife, and wanted to provoke the legal wife into divorcing him. Now look, the fox outsmarted itself. Pei Lin kept his head down the whole time. As he was being led onto the police car, he suddenly paused, turned his head, and said to me, I leave home in your hands. I'm sorry for wronging you. Find a good man and start over. I stared at him coldly, saying nothing. He got into the police car. Zhou Shushu pounded on the window heart-wrenchingly. She shouted to Pei Lin inside. Don't be afraid. I'll help you find a lawyer to fight the case. I won't abandon you. I could see it. She truly loved Pei Lin. She chased the police car, stumbling all the way, falling several times, until the police car Wanchen disappeared. She ran back, knelt pathetically at my feet and begged, please help him. You're a university teacher, you know more than me. I won't fight you for him anymore. You can divorce, I don't care, as long as he doesn't go to prison. Whether you believe it or not, I have real feelings for him. It's not because of the money. I looked at her calmly, the hatred in my heart completely gone. Seeing me unmoved, she continued crying and begging. At first I really didn't know he was married, or that he had a child. It was when my son was 1 year old that I found you in his phone. By then I had no choice. Our whole family couldn't do without him. I know it's useless to say anything now. I only beg you,